We welcome you in for our second edition of the Mountaineer previewing series. Today we sit down with the Division Two head coach, Mr. Adam Brown. Adam, how we doing today?
I'm happy to be back. I'm so glad to be here with you, Cam.
Oh, I missed you a lot over the summer. I said, what is Adam doing without me? And I still don't know what you did without me.
Well, you called me no less than 5 times to find out.
And I did. Well, let's get right into it. You've had a hell of a run as a head coach for D2 so far. Back to back, you are 2-0 in championship games. I mean, you must be on cloud nine right now.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I have a lot of people to thank that came before me that created this culture. And one of the hottest topics in the coaching world is creating a winning culture on your team. And we have that now. So at this point, it's a matter of just keeping this thing going. We want to keep that up. We want to keep striving for more, and we want to make sure that we're never settling. And with all of that in place already, we're going for number three this year.
And speaking of that, before we get into previewing last season, one follow-up here. You're the team to beat. You've been the team to beat now for 2 years. What kind of mindset is that like that you're not really an underdog anymore? You are the team that they want to beat.
I mean, we all love it. Everybody loves it. I love it. We always get everybody's best lineup. There's always a target on our back. And what that does for us over the course of a season is it makes us sharp because come playoff time, it's if you want to play in the championship, it's three single elimination games. So if you take a period off, that could be the end of your weekend. So it could be a situation where if it's a best of seven, maybe you're beating everybody and you're going the whole way. But you have to perform 3 times in a row, 3 days in a row, and you can't take any time off. So when people are throwing their best lineups at you all season, then that just it makes us ready for that moment.
Yeah, and let's preview that last season now. Coming off that first championship ring, you loaded up for another one. What was the mindset like going into that season, and how did that mindset carry throughout the season?
Yeah, going into last season was an adventure for me because we had a team that lost a really big and really important senior class. So we stumbled early out of the gate. I think that's not really a secret. And it took a minute to get the guys to realize that they were all pieces of that equation as well. And it was their turn to carry the torch and be that class now. So that's kind of that goes back to what I was talking about with when you have the culture, which is the hardest thing to do in sports, probably. When you have the culture, you have to make sure that you keep the ball rolling and getting those guys to believe that they were the next big deal. That was a big part of our season last year. And now we've done that one time. Going into this year, everybody knows that they're the next class. Everybody knows that we have that culture.
Yeah, and that's another good point there. I mean, players on the team, you look at Stankiewicz, you look at Ambrosi, you look at your favorite goaltender of all time, Griff. Those players are a key part of your team here. And I know what you're gonna say. Griff should have won last season. You have any remarks on that?
Uh, Griff's a legend. He was I believe he was MVP last year. He might have been co-MVP with Mark. I actually cannot remember. I blacked most of that out. Um, but yeah, he got slept on a little bit last season. I think it's because he was a sophomore, but he showed the league. That kid is now 5-0, and he's undefeated in playoff starts. Um, Brosy, that's another junior. Like I have all these really important seniors. Like you named Stank first, and I want to harp on that point that those guys are so important to us, and they were a part of that first championship run. But then I have guys behind them as well for when they're gone, and I cry. But I have guys behind them too that are going to keep this thing rolling.
Yeah, and let's talk about your team as an individual here, and we'll start to move into this season, and then we're gonna break Ohio down a little bit. But your locker room, every time I walk in there, It's amazing. The locker room chemistry for your team, I've never seen before. What's that like knowing that you have a locker room full of guys that got each other's back?
It goes, all the credit goes to our captains because as coaches, we cannot create that. So I can do all of the X's and O's on the ice, and I can put them in situations where they can get close. There are little things that I can do, but at the end of the day, their closeness mostly happens away from the rink, and I have the captains to thank for that. They get the guys integrated right away. We don't, exclude freshmen from anything. They're not the guys picking up the pucks or doing the laundry. Like we all do that as a team. And when you make everything as a team, they get integrated right away. And to have that closeness and not have to worry about that as a coach, that lets us focus on the X's and O's. So we can do the things that we want to do as coaches and getting them, caught up on that and game planning and film and all that stuff because I don't have to worry about clicks in the locker room or cheeky ways to team build or anything like that. That is happening on its own, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, and let's look into your season now. Marquee matchups are listed all over your schedule. I think most importantly, I look at that Louisville series. It's a big step up game for you there. What games you have circled around your calendar? I know Ohio, we'll get into that. That's probably circled on there. What games are you looking forward to this season?
Oh, there's so many. I knew that you were gonna ask me a question like that, so I was trying to prepare ahead of time.
For the
Speaking to
record,
the
I'm
schedule,
sorry. For the record, I did not give him any of the questions. I told him that I was going to surprise him with all my questions. So props for you for trying to figure me out.
yeah, I was, I'm always looking ahead. I'm always doing my scout film. So I was ready for you.
Mm.
I would say, speaking to the schedule as a whole, this is the last year that we're going to be playing in the ACC Elite. So next year we will jump up to the ACC Premier. That's a done deal. That is happening. So in my mind, I wanted to create a schedule for this year that reads like an ACC Premier schedule because that's going to do two things. Number one, it's going to make us sharper for our own playoff. Number two, it is going to put us in a situation where if we take care of the things that we need to take care of, regionals are all of a sudden on the table for us. You listed a couple of the big opponents that we have. If we start taking those guys down, and even just by playing them, because you get the strength of schedule boost, we might have hockey to play after our championship. So that is
This
why
year?
I created this year.
Okay.
But we have to do the necessary things. So I wanted to take, and then at the same time, it's a feeling out process because at the end of the day, maybe we don't go to regionals, then those games don't really matter. But the guys got to dip their toe in the water for what their schedule is going to look like next year. And then we'll just focus on the league games. In terms of dates that I have circled on my calendar, very excited for OU. I'm super excited for that one. I'm sure that we'll talk more about it, so I won't harp on it too much. Very excited always for Virginia Tech. It's a big rivalry weekend. We've had the better of them lately, so we want to again. I'm trying to stay away from saying keep the ball rolling, but I keep saying it.
You
So
do.
we're
It's
gonna
okay.
skip that. ACC tournament this year. That is a weekend that, for whatever reason, it tends to be a bad weekend for us. It makes no sense. There are teams that we then beat in playoffs or we beat in the regular season, but when we're at that tournament, we don't perform like we're supposed to. I want to dominate the ACC tournament this year. We're coming with a fire. Reason being is if we can take care of business there and then take care of business in the regular season, whereas in seasons past we've been doing the regular season and not the tournament, we can roll into playoffs as the first seed and control our destinies. And that is exactly what I want.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on pretty much everything. That was news to me, by the way, that we all are jumping up to premiere. I wasn't aware of that, so you caught me off guard
Yep,
there.
very excited for it.
Yeah. So speaking of that, I mean, I can see how excited you are for Ohio. So let's jump right into it. So this is kind of like our PDP brownie for the upcoming week. So let's jump into it. Ohio is a pretty damn good team. I mean, we both know that. Um, what do you look for from your team? First game of the season, obviously you're going through practices right now, building up for that. But what's it like?
Ohio is, yeah, they're one of the best teams in the country. I mean, they're a major player. They're a team that could qualify for nationals. If they do qualify for nationals, They are going to absolutely make a statement. Where they're strongest is on the back end. So their best players are their goalie, who is exceptional, and their defenseman. That's where they're the most dangerous. Fortunately, the thing that I value the most about our team in terms of X's and O's is our depth up front. So we have four lines. It's no secret that we roll those lines. So the game plan going into Ohio is just going to be really simple hockey. We're going to make sure that we're getting pucks in deep because if their defensemen are getting to them quickly, like if we're turning them over in the neutral zone or it's kind of a half dump and we don't get it the whole way behind the goal line, they're very, very dangerous in transition. So we want to make sure that the pucks are behind them. We're going to grind it out. We have four lines. The guys are in incredible shape this year. I've really kind of ramped up the dry land and the work on ice. So we're going to be able to grind for 60 minutes. And I think that if our forwards can beat their defensemen, then in Wheeling at West Banco in front of all those people, tickets are already flying off the shelves. Jumbotron's going to be on. It's going to be a great experience. And I think in front of all those people, we are going to make a huge statement and beat OU.
Yeah, I mean, as you just pointed out, thanks for stealing my thunder there. We're going up to Wheeling, West Virginia. Mountaineer Hockey Network will be there as well, watching Brownie and D1. Um, what's that like? I mean, obviously you go on the road with teams. I mean, obviously your team goes on the road. But what's it like knowing that your home game is gonna be somewhere else in front of a packed crowd, B, it's gonna have a jumbotron, which is gonna be really cool, and C, it's not your home. It's not like your designated home ice. Does that play a factor into any of this?
Mostly no. So it'll mess up our routine a little bit. Don't get me wrong. It'll be a little bit of a different preparation for us. But one of the things that is a big draw to WVU hockey is that there are two teams in the entire state of West Virginia that are above the high school level. So you have the Wheeling Nailers, who that's the barn that we'll be playing in, and then you have WVU. So this is a home game. When we go to Wheeling, like there's kids that are going to be there that are watching us that want to play at WVU. When we go to Charleston, there's a ton of kids there that are watching us that want to play at WVU. We represent those people, and a lot of our players are from Wheeling. So it's not our home rink, but it's still a home game.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of that, I just want to give you my deepest thank yous for scheduling Appalachian State. I have that game circled on my calendar like you wouldn't believe. So thank you for making a Mountaineer versus Mountaineer matchup for me. Um, and then lastly, can I shave your head?
You cannot touch my head with anything sharp at all.
I feel like I could be a great barber for you. We can really clean it up. We can get you like a little bit of a flow going here. I think it would look really good.
No, I have exceptional hair and an exceptional beard, and my barber is fantastic. So you will
Speaking
not
of
be
that,
coming anywhere near my head.
speaking of that last point here, I think we talked about it. I don't remember. Was when we did our last episode recapping your playoff wins, was your beard shaved yet, or did you do that after? Because I
I
know
did
that
it
was
after
that
intentionally.
was a big deal. So for those who don't know, Brownie decided that it would be awesome if he shaved his beard if they won it all. And let me tell you, this guy looks like a whole different man without a beard.
I looked like considerably less of a man, actually. I looked like Napoleon Dynamite's brother, Kip.
Well, Coach, I really do appreciate your time. Coming up is going to be Coach Rue. We'll sit down with him and discuss the D3 season ahead of him. Hoping for a bounce back season there. Coach, any final remarks you want to make about your team?
No, Cam, I'm like I said, I'm excited to be here with you because that means that the season is upon us. And I just want to tell you, like always, I really appreciate the things that you do. And on the media side, kind of bringing these things out. I just really appreciate you and your whole team.
Yeah, no, yeah. My team's going to be huge this year. We got a lot of new faces coming in, so I'm really excited about that. And now we're still working on it, but a sneak preview. I haven't told anybody else yet. We're going to be doing interviews during intermissions this season, so it's really a really huge improvement for us. So I'm really excited to get that going. But we've run out of time, so we'll end it here. So we'll catch up with Coach Rue next. Peace out.